Good girl. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do It with Daisy. Today, we're going to be talking about Pet Day because National Pet Day and both the US and UK Pet Months are coming up soon. So I thought it was the perfect opportunity to talk about how our animals can really help us live better lives. And my go-to breakfast and waffles, one of Waffles' favorite foods, is a great example of that. Because for breakfast today, Waffles had hamburger soup. Yes, you did. And this week she wanted to have carrots and hamburger. I should have pulled the video of hers talking about that so that I could show you, but I didn't this time. I will try and remember that in the future. So I oftentimes struggle with eating well. I feel like that kind of goes for a lot of us. Like, eating well is not something that's easy to do these days, especially when there's so many quick, easy, convenient options at the store. You want that? Do you want Mama to cut you off a piece? Okay. Oops, sorry, honey, here. You need it cooked? Okay. So there are so many easy, convenient options at the store, and they're always processed, right? So for me, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to be motivated to make something to eat that's actually good for me. But my dog's nutrition has always been so important to me. And I look at kibble like the way that I look at like cereal and boxed meals. Like, technically, it's enriched with all the nutrition that you need to survive. But you're never gonna get to optimal wellness on boxed meals and cereal. Now, that doesn't mean that that's bad, that it's unhealthy for you to live that way, especially if that's what you can afford, if that's what's in your budget. But it just means that we should be adding in some fresh fruits and veggies as well. Now, Waffles is my whole life, my light and joy. And so her nutrition has always been so important to me. And I have always made sure that I gave her fresh fruits and vegetables. She eats primarily fresh food now, but she hasn't always. She used to eat kibble, and during that time, she also got fresh fruits and veggies as treats. My vet said that fruit is candy. So I'm like thinking, like, if I can give my dog, if I have the means to give my dog fresh food, then I have no excuse not to be feeding myself well. So now when she wants beef and veggies, then I make myself some beef and veggies. I have a really hard time stomaching hamburger, but I can handle steak. Where'd my hand go? Here we go. Hi guys, I'm back. Hi. There we go. So when Waffles wants hamburger, I make some steak for myself. Measure it out I measure my steak based on recommendations by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. She's a physiologist who specializes in strength training. So she is a really good source for optimal protein requirements for your body. So I measure out how much steak I should ingest based on her suggestions for my body. And then and the reason I do that is I also think, like, well, I would never just wing it with how much meat Waffles gets. I leave balancing her food up to the DVM, PhD, board certified veterinary nutritionists, because those are the people who've literally devoted their lives to learning about animal nutrition. And animal nutrition can get really, really complex, especially with dogs and cats and smaller animals. Like when something is out of balance, the chance of deficiencies and toxicities is just multiplied because we're talking about a smaller animal. Proportions make a much bigger impact. Waffles, honey, this is still hot. Still hot. So it's really important to kind of follow those guidelines. Most veterinary nutritionists, all the veterinary nutritionists that I follow, but I have to say most because I don't know of all the veterinary nutritionists there are in the world. But the ones that I follow have everything I've seen has always stated that as long as your dog is getting 90% of their daily calories from a veterinary nutritionist balanced diet, you're good to go. So I use that as kind of like a guideline for how much food I share with her versus how much food she eats directly from her balanced diet. And if she wants beef and veggies, which calls for like beef, sweet potato, eggs, and broccoli, then I'm going to have some beef and veggies too. I'm going to have some steak. I'm going to have some carrot. I'm going to have some sweet potato. I'm not going to have broccoli today. I usually add broccoli in my Royal Asada, but today I'm doing kale instead. And I'm also going to add in some red cabbage. I love this because anything that's like purple or blue, I feel like is really, really beneficial for building collagen. And yeah, you got your own. So I feel like it's really beneficial for building collagen, and it kind of wakes you up a little. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's a psychosomatic effect, but I feel energized after eating purple foods. So I'm going to make sure I include some purple cabbage as well because my body is craving it. And if you've seen me prepare Royal Asada in the past, then you know that I absolutely add an egg at the end. You have your own. We're literally chomping the same thing. You're chomping with your teeth. I'm chomping with a knife. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments. Really, what practicing symbiotic living has taught me is that what's good for me is good for her. So I don't need to stress out about making sure that I'm doing everything that's best for her because all I need to do is what's best for me. If you are practicing healthy behaviors and you're making sure that you get out enough and all you're doing for your pet is including them in the things that you do for yourself, then you are off to a really, really, really great start. Obviously, your animal's needs are going to depend on their species and their breed, but really, like, the best practice is to initially choose your pet based on your lifestyle. And if you don't, then you can modify your lifestyle to fit your pet's needs and kind of take the opposite approach where what's good for your pet is good for you. So for example, Waffles is a very high energy dog. Before I got her, I did not like exercise whatsoever. I still don't like exercise. I don't consider anything that we do exercise. But before I got her, needless to say, I did not exercise much. That doesn't mean that I wasn't active. Like, I love hiking, and so I would hike quite frequently. but not as frequently as I would like. Like when I say quite frequently, I mean like I might get out once every couple months to go on a really good hike. But there's always excuses, you know? So when I got Waffles, that kind of changed. Because when I got Waffles, we started, when I wanted to go on a hike, then I would tell her about it. I'd be like, you want to go on a hike today? I can't look at her when I say it because then she'll think I'm talking to her, and I don't think we're going to have time for a hike today. But I would ask her about it, and then she would get excited. And then at that point, you can't let your dog down. So you have to do the thing that you really wanted to do anyway, but you were going to talk yourself out of it, and you would have talked yourself out of it if it were just you. But since your dog is now counting on you to fulfill your promise, you've got to follow through, especially if you want them to understand you. If you want your animal to understand what you're saying, you always have to follow through, because how all animals, humans included, learn is through action and consequence. So if you say hike and you ask them if they want to go on one, and then they get excited, and every time that you do that, every time that chain of events happens, you then go on a hike, then your animal learns that phrase means that if they get excited, that's what's going to happen. Especially if when you ask them the same question and they don't get excited, you give them a shrug, okay, that's fine, and don't go anywhere. It just further enforces that chain of behavior. I say this, you do this, this happens. I say that same thing, you do this different thing, this doesn't happen. So building communication with your animal is really, really important. It makes it possible to train things that you might not see yourself capable of training before. Because Waffles understands the words, a lot of the words that I say, because I always follow through. She can start to decipher things. Like I never specifically taught her the word around, but because she knows my body language, she knows me, she knows what to expect from me, and she can understand context clues because she understands words in general. I could say around, and she could start to go around. She knows turn around. She knows the spin around. And so therefore she was able to learn go around. All this to say, what's good for them is good for you. What's good for you is good for them when you're talking about symbiotic living with your pets. And they can really help you with so many struggles, whether it's eating well, whether it's getting enough exercise, whether it's getting outside enough. Even if you don't have a dog, say you have a cat. Most cats do enjoy time outdoors, but even if you're not comfortable with your cat being outside on their own, you can get them a harness and have outside time. Start to teach them what the phrase outside time means by taking them outside when you say it, or when they react in an excited way when you say outside. And that time outside is really good for you. If you're a home buddy and you have a cat or any other animal who would thrive from some time outside, just spending time on outside your front door is so beneficial. Exposing your body to those natural elements of sunshine and fresh air and all of those things, while your animal gets exposure to outside elements and outside smells and just outside everything. It's good for both of you. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the stove, let it simmer for, usually it only takes about 20 minutes to cook, but I will let you in on a little secret. Sometimes I get very distracted. Like sometimes I get very distracted and I forget about my food. So what I do is I start my day with something simple and easy and high in protein, like a smoothie or a chia bowl, like something just easy. That way I've got protein in my body right away. I'm not like risking not getting my protein by forgetting about my food. And then I put some water in the pan and put it on low and just let it go for like an hour. There's no like if you've got water in the pan, nothing's gonna burn. And when I do remember my food, then I can come back and check on it. And usually all of the vegetables are really tender and delicious. Oops, I forgot my kale. Usually the vegetables are really tender and delicious by then. Waffles, honey, don't steal. And then it's the perfect time to add the eggs because the water that's left in the pan has so much just vegetable juice and oils and fat from the meat that it's going to just make the egg delicious. It's going to be pre-seasoned basically. So that is my little trick for not burning my food when I forget about it for an hour to hours at a time. Any final questions? Go ahead and drop them in the comments while I put some water in here. And also, does anyone have any plans for Pet Day? Waffles and I are going to be going to a breakfast spot. We're going to go get some brunch at a pet-friendly restaurant. So that is how we're going to be celebrating Pet Day. I would love to hear about how you guys are celebrating as well. All right. Go ahead and put this on the stove. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's class. And if you did, please make sure that you like this post and share it with a friend. And we will see you next time. We'll see you next week for some more doggone cooking.